friends, so today I'm going to pick my TBR with the help of my TBR jar. But I'm only gonna use my TBR jar for half of my TBR because I already have 3 books that I definitely want to read in March that I've already picked out. So the first book, which I've already started, is Wisteria by Adeline Grace. This one is the 3rd book in the Belladonna series, and I've been absolutely obsessed with the Belladonna series in February. So I'm very excited to finish the series, and I've been so hooked with the 3rd book already, but I'm only like 100 pages in because I didn't get around to reading much the last few days because there has been a lot going on in my life. So I'm very excited to continue this and to finish this hopefully in the next few days. And I'm also gonna film this in a reading vlog, so you're gonna see it then. But if you don't know the Belladonna series, it's about this main character who's called Signa. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce it. I always pronounce it Signa, but I've never looked it up because I'm reading this and I'm not listening to the audiobook, so I don't actually know. But she could always see death throughout her whole life, and she also kind of can't really die because she has died many times but then has always come back. She can see death, and death is following her around, and she can see spirits, and everybody around her is always dying. It's her story of like finding a new home, trying to figure out what is going on with death and why she can see him and what is actually happening here. A lot is happening in this series, and it's so magical and whimsical and mysterious, and the gothic vibes are so there. I think it's set around 1850, and it feels like it's set in England. I'm pretty sure it's set in England, and it's absolutely magical. I love books that integrate magic systems into the real world. I'm just very obsessed with that kind of stuff. So this was right up my alley, and I've also ordered a box set of the 3 books, and I'm so excited for it to arrive in mid-March. It is going to take a while because I got a pretty good deal on them. They're not from like my local bookstore, they're from I don't know what kind of store, but it's taking a bit to get here. So I'm very excited when it's going to arrive. And then I'm also currently buddy reading Our Missing Hearts by Celeste Ng. I've read Everything I Never Told You and Little Fairs Everywhere last year, and I just love them both so much and I couldn't get enough of them. So I'm just super excited to read her latest novel, which is actually a dystopian novel, and I'm buddy reading it with a Bookstagram friend of mine. I'm just so excited to talk about this book because it's so intriguing, because this is set in a world where there's some kind of pact, and we follow this young kid who has lost his mother. She just went away and he never really knew why. The older he gets, the more he learns about this pact that is controlling the United States, or that is like the new law of the United States. And that's basically all I know so far. I've only listened to an hour of it, so I'm very excited to continue it. And it's in the typical Celeste Ng writing style, which I am absolutely loving so far. Like, I already feel so connected to the main character. Like, we get to learn more and more about his life, and the little details that are being revealed are so intriguing, and I'm so excited to see where this is going. And then I'm also very excited to read Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. I've bought this book in my last reading vlog, and I am so excited to read this one. So this is one that I definitely want to pick up in March. It also has these beautiful ombre edges and this absolutely stunning cover. I am just very excited for this. The premise sounds so good, and it also has this little blurb by V. Schwab. I mean, when V. Schwab says it's impossible to put down, then it's impossible to put down. So I'm very excited to read this one. And this one is about Evelyn, who has lived countless lives, and in every single one she has been killed at her 18th birthday. But in her present life, her sister needs her in order to stay alive. But to save her sister and to make it past her 18th birthday, she has to 1. Find the centuries-old enemy who hunts her through each life, 2. Figure out why she's being hunted so that she can break the curse once and for all. Most importantly, she's going to have to try not to fall in love with them again. It sounds so intriguing. I am so absolutely obsessed with the idea of this book. It's also, again, a magical story set in the real world, which I'm absolutely obsessed with. So yeah, I am very excited to pick this up. I'm going to put all of the books that I'm going to pick here so you can kind of see them, but also can't. Maybe like this. I think this kind of works. Alright, so I'm actually too tall to sit in this cross-legged position the whole time. Like, It's hurting my body pretty bad, but we're gonna make it work. So let me adjust a little bit. And now let's move on to the TBR jar. I'm very excited to see what prompts I'm going to pick out of this. Like, this is always very exciting and always a bit scary, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm always a bit anxious, like, what if I actually don't want to read this book? Let's shake this up. I mean, it has been standing in my shelves for, I don't know, months. I think the last time I did this was in like June, maybe May last year. So it's almost been a year, but we're gonna see. And then I'm gonna look up, so I don't see what I'm going to pick up. Something got stuck. I think I got something. Okay, let's see. The book with the highest rating on Goodreads. Oh my gosh, now I have to look up every single book on here. Okay, we're gonna see how long this is going to take. Okay, Foul Lady Fortune has 4.22 stars. Oh, this has 4.36 stars. Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. Oh, The Book Thief has 4.39 stars. So this is the highest rated so far. I'm actually not looking up every single one because this is going to take ages, but I'm picking the ones that I know have pretty high ratings on Goodreads, which I know are pretty popular. The Secret History by Donna Tartt, for example, has 4.16, which is less than The Book Thief, so we're going to continue. I think I've looked up every single one now, and The Book Thief is by far the one with the highest rating, so I'm going to put this one on my TBR. I'm always a bit intimidated by this book, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this book is always intimidating me, which is why I haven't read it yet, even though it's been on my shelves for almost 10 years now. But the thing with this book is, like, I am German, and this one is about the Nazi time and a Jewish girl who is trying to flee from the Nazis. I don't know too much about this other than that, and that it has something to do with books, and that death is portrayed as a person in this as well, just like it is in Belladonna actually, which could be intriguing. Like, this could actually be something. Maybe this is making me a bit more excited about it because I'm expecting this to be very sad. I usually love sad books, but if it's based on history, like my country was at fault for this horrible stuff that has happened back then, so I don't know how I'm going to deal with this emotionally. I don't know how I'm going to process this and what it is going to do to me, because I have heard about this history for all of my life, because we have learned about it in school again and again, and oh, it's so heartbreaking what has happened back then, and I'm not really sure how I'm going to deal with this emotionally, because stuff can really get to me. That's why this book has always intimidated me a bit. And that's why I haven't read it yet, so hopefully I'm going to pick it up now, and that death is personified in here also kind of makes me a bit more intrigued, because I'm currently very obsessed with the Belladonna series. So this is book 2. Or it's not book 2, it's actually book 4. And now we're gonna pick book 5. Alright, I think it's shaken up enough, so let's pick the book. I think I got one. There it is. A book with a one-word title. A book with a one-word title. Okay, let's see. We got Beartown, we got Lapvona, we got Piranesi. Unsteady is also with a one-word title, and Wildfire. I think that's it. Now I have to decide. If you know me personally, you know that I'm the worst with decisions. Like, I'm standing at the bakery and trying to pick out what to eat, and I'm standing there and I literally can't decide for like 5 minutes, and it's the worst. It's the worst. And then I'm always regretting my decision after. So let's see if I can pick the right book here. What am I in the mood for? So we got fantasy, we got historical fiction, and then we also got dystopian and another fantasy. So maybe some romance? Or maybe something that's a bit lighter. Literary fiction could also be something that could be intriguing. Oh, Wonderstruck is also on here, but I think this is also kind of historical. I'm not 100% sure. So I actually think I might go with Unsteady. And I feel like in March I can still get away with reading a wintry kind of book, like for my mood. I feel like if I would read this in the summertime it would kind of feel a bit wrong, I don't know. But reading this in March still feels alright, I guess. I'm pretty intrigued by this book, especially because I heard that it has a very heavy focus on mental health. So this is a romance story between an ice skater and a hockey player. I think the hockey player is dealing with mental health issues. So the hockey player has panic attacks and the ice figure skater is drowning in debt, custody hearings for her brother. She has a reputation for being a spitfire figure skater known for her bad attitude and disappearing acts, and I think they connect because the guy has a panic attack in front of her and she's trying to help him. This sounds right up my alley. I always love me some mental health themes, like that's just my kind of thing because I'm always dealing with my own mental health, so reading about mental health is always something I just really enjoy because I can always deeply relate to these characters. So yeah, I got some pretty emotional books on here already, so we're going to see how this is going to go. And now let's pick the last prompt. I'm very excited to see what it's going to be. I can't get it. Ah, okay, I got it. Oh, there are two? Okay. No! It says an intimidating book. I mean, I actually just picked an intimidating book with the book thief. So there are a few books that intimidate me for some reason. I don't know about this one. I mean, the book thief is already intimidating me. I want something that's like bringing me joy. Let's see. The love hypothesis is kind of intimidating me because I'm not that huge into spies and I bought this when it was super hyped, but for some reason I never picked it up, and I heard that this could be kind of similar to The Spanish Love Deception, and I've read about 180 pages of The Spanish Love Deception before I DNF'd it, and I hated that book. So this is kind of intimidating to me for that reason. Also kind of intimidated by The Secret History. Oh, and another book that I'm pretty intimidated by is The Picture of Dorian Gray, because it's a classic, and I'm always intimidated by classics because I'm always like, will I understand it just as great as I do books in like modern language? Because I'm not a native English speaker. I mean, I understand English pretty well, and I've also analyzed Shakespeare in my school years, so I'm actually pretty confident in that, but for some reason classics still intimidate me because I just have to use a bit more brain power to read them, so that's why they intimidate me. But actually my boyfriend is called Dorian, so I've always wanted to read this book and I think the story sounds pretty cool. So I think I might actually pick this one because I've always been putting it off. It's also a more rather short book, even though the font is tiny, but you know, I'm open to it and I think I might really enjoy this one. And I also really want to watch the movie with Ben Barnes with my boyfriend later after reading this, so this might be a motivation to read this book. Just know that it has something to do with a picture and a man that never ages. But I'm going to read you the back so we all know what is actually going on here. A story of evil, debauchery and scandal, Oscar Wilde's only novel tells of Dorian Gray, a beautiful yet corrupt man. When he wishes that a perfect portrait of himself would bear the signs of aging in his place, the picture becomes his hideous secret as it follows Dorian's own downward spiral into cruelty and depravity. This actually sounds very good. I'm very excited to read this one, but I'm also pretty intimidated, not gonna lie. So here are all of the books that I hope to read in March of this year, and I'm very excited for all of them. If you want to see me reading them, make sure you subscribe to my channel and follow along, and I will upload some reading vlogs on them. I'm actually planning to do a 24-hour reading challenge next. So with that, thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye!